walking up from Arti after we had been talking about Ganga as the liberator and coming to her banks after passing, I had someone ask me as I walked up, how is it? Because when I had been speaking about Arjun Lulaji's life, I'd been mentioning the word celebration, that we were celebrating. And someone had asked, well, how can you possibly celebrate a death? And I said, well, that's a great question, and we'll take it in satsang. And it is a great question because it was asked by someone from abroad. And for me, this is really where Indian culture and Western culture come together at a place that Indian culture has so much to teach those of us from the West. When I first came here, walked up and down the banks of Ganga. On the other side of Ganga, a little bit downriver, is where the cremation ground is for Rishikesh. And I was walking down the banks of Ganga, and it was one night I didn't go to Arti, and I was during Arti listening to the Arti though, but walking on the ghat downriver. And I was seeing this cremation take place across the river. And my initial instinct was within the first few years of coming here. My initial instinct was, oh my God. And I felt horrible all of a sudden because I thought, how those people over there, in the cremation of a loved one, standing there watching their loved one be engulfed in flames, what must they feel like to hear this really loud, joyous celebration take place on the other side of the river? And suddenly I felt incredibly guilty because I thought, oh my God, if I were there at the cremation of a loved one, and someone had the audacity to be celebrating, I would feel horrible. I mean, forget actually celebrating the death, but celebrating in general. A loved one dies and we sort of expect that the sun isn't going to rise. And if it does, we're aghast with the audacity of the sun to even rise. Our world has stopped, so the whole world should stop. But this is really the Western way of segregating. This is a time for death, this is a time for life, this is a time for mourning, this is a time for celebration. And in Indian culture, there's no such boxes. There's no such distinction. The experience of life includes within it the awareness of death. The experience of death includes within it the celebration of life. And also a celebration to be freed from this particular incarnation. And from that moment on, whenever there's a cremation going on the banks of Ganga, usually I close my eyes in the Arti. But if there's ever a cremation going on, I always try to keep my eyes open. And I have a personal meditation practice, which is as the cremation is going on, can I keep my eyes open and focused on that cremation? And can I be present in those who are mourning the loss of a loved one? Can I be there on the other side of the river as one who is mourning the loss of a loved one? And then, if you take the meditation deeper, can I be the one in the flames? Can my experience, my consciousness expand to such an extent that being here, the one celebrating, the one singing, but simultaneously, it's not either or. It's not, can I no longer experience the joy of the arti, but instead experience the pain of the cremation. Not that. Can I expand my consciousness? Can I expand my awareness of self enough that it can actually simultaneously include the celebration and the mourning, and on a good night where the meditation is deep, the experience of burning in the fire as well. It's easier to do when it's first one then the other. Now I'm mourning, then I'm burning, then I'm celebrating. It gets much more complex, but much deeper and much more exciting if you can actually get them all going at once. If you can have the experience of who I am is neither stuck in this moment in which I'm celebrating and singing and dancing, nor stuck in the moment of mourning, nor stuck in the moment of burning. We're actually all of it. And the metaphor of the fire for me continues because that separation exists. It feels very safe on our side of the river where we're celebrating compared to their side of the river where there's death. Like here's the life and there's the death. But actually, the minute you go barely a couple of feet above that river, the flames of the fire from their cremation mingle with the flames from our arti in such a way that 4 feet above Ganga, you no longer can tease apart which is a flame of celebration and which is a flame of mourning, which is a flame of life, which is a flame of death. That whole aspect of separation is one that exists only as long as we stay on the most superficial surface level in which there actually is that separation between mourning and celebration, between life and death. And that's where the celebration comes in, is, yeah, we mourn. We've lost the presence of one we loved, the physical presence. And that's important. It's important not to deny that and ignore that. Bodies are beautiful. Just because we aren't our body doesn't mean we don't appreciate the body. Bodies are wonderful. Any shape, any size, any form, doesn't matter. They're all beautiful. And we love holding hands, and we love looking in eyes, and we love crying on shoulders, and we love giving hugs. And that's beautiful. And when someone dies, we no longer can do that. And so there absolutely is a space for mourning the loss. We've lost the ability to hug and to hold and to smile and to cry on shoulders. But simultaneously, it's important to realize that's all we've lost. So yes, it's a loss, and yes, we mourn it, and yes, we realize that actually the essence of the one we loved is still here. Only the body's over. The soul is still here. And what we really love when we love is soul. We may also love the body, but if you only love the body, it's not love, it's lust. So if you really love, your loving essence, your loving spirit, your loving soul, and that doesn't die. And so we celebrate. We celebrate that they are no longer entrapped in this body. We celebrate that we had the opportunity to know and love them. And we celebrate on a deeper level, simply due to the fact that in this space of expanded consciousness, of expanded self, wherever there is mourning, there is also celebration. Wherever there is death, there is also life. That's what I was saying on the banks of Ganga. It's not linear. It's not we're born, then we're sustained, then we die, over, beginning, middle, end. That's the story of this particular wave form. It's not even the story of the actual matter, the actual energy that I've been created from, right? The laws of physics tell us cannot actually be destroyed. Can be transmuted, can change form, cannot actually be destroyed. I love it when science says the same thing that spirituality does, right? So we now have physics telling us exactly the same thing in different words that Lord Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita cannot be destroyed. And so if we only mourn, it means we're living just in the box of what we've lost, which is the body. So there must always be the space for celebration of that essence, of that divinity, of the soul. Hence we celebrate.